make some noise for your cast of the Why So Serious show on BlazeRadioOnline.com.
It is Monday, and it is time for the Why So Serious show on Blaze Radio, BlazeRadioOnline.com. I'm Jesse Morrison, joined alongside Mallory Schnell and special guests, Matt Kling, Max Bechtold, and from XYZ Montana, Jeremy Schnell.
Hey, don't forget our very special guest, Dion Waiters.
And Dion Waiters.
Weighters.
Yep. He had a good offseason and a really good season before it got shut down. So
He always has
All
good
two
seasons.
games that he played in this year.
Mallory and I saw him, and then he had a panic attack or whatever on the
That
plane.
night. Literally that night.
You might have to put that. You might need to do some post-production editing on that sound there, Jesse.
Yeah, it'll be a little low, but I probably won't, just because I'm kind of mailing it in now that we're on quarantine.
You have nothing else that you're doing though.
Yeah, I got a lot. I'm writing articles all the time. I'm on the coronavirus beat like everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, over here at SWX Montana,
XYZ Montana.
AFBB, we're definitely on the coronavirus beat. I did a story on a Capital girls basketball player who's been singing to pass the time. That was one of my stories today.
Yeah, it was a good story. It was like 200, maybe 200 words, if that.
Big story.
Yeah, big story. I wrote a 1,284 word story today. On bobbleheads. Jake Santo, big quote in that one. Almost invited him on the show today, but I
Is
figured.
Jesse a human version of a bobblehead?
Yeah.
Probably.
Put on
Yeah,
the poll, Mallory.
I move around a lot. I should sit back. But huge news. Josh Christopher, number 11
Woo!
Rivals, number 10 ESPN. He is coming to Arizona State.
Go.
Take
And-
that, Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan. Jeremy.
What? What's wrong? What seems to be the problem?
This is huge, though. Like I think that ASU is now the front runner to win the Pac-12 next year. It's just my opinion.
Well, they have to get Remy back.
If they get Remy back, if they get Romello back, which I think
Romello doesn't matter. They can get Remy back, and
Romello had a
can kick
very
rocks.
good season. Were you watching him, Jeremy?
Romello can kick rocks.
He was having a very good season. Do you all disagree at all? Mallory didn't go to any games because she was covering a club hockey team. But everybody else that watched ASU men's basketball, what do you think? Romello White, very good player, right?
Yeah.
None of us watched ASU basketball this year.
I watched some. Yeah, I watched some.
Max and I went to a game and Mello showed up
Yeah.
because they went to see Anthony Edwards.
He's probably going to go number one now, and he played awful in that game.
That guy's gonna average 10 points a game in his NBA.
Markel Fultz.
No, Markel Fultz is better.
He's going to go average 10, 5, and 7 and be a role player on a team that's going to win the championship in 8 years. He's going to be the 8th guy on the roster.
I just don't understand how I guess the Warriors are going a route where they can develop a player, but why don't you just go the safest route and go with a big guy, a big man,
Well, because that's the thing.
or something.
Anthony Edwards, I feel would be a disaster with Curry and Clay.
Yeah.
What's
Can
the
he shoot?
fit there? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, he seems like one of those guys that's too strong.
Yeah,
That was my.
I think
that
he's
was
got
my-
a
the guy
West.
from
I think he's got
USC,
a
the
Westbrook
center.
shot.
The center from USC, Okanwu.
Yeah, either him or Wiseman.
What about Vernon?
Vernon would be good for.
He's
for
supposed
that.
to be projected to be the 28th overall pick, Mallory. I hate to break it to you.
Yeah, but he's really good.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah,
but
that's why you should have stayed at Duke another year. You could have been the number one pick next
He
year.
averaged 20 and 10.
yeah, I don't know why he's not higher on the board. He's a Duke player that averaged 20 and 10. They had a really good shot at going far in the tournament this year.
As long as Obi Toppin's playing for Cleveland next year, I'm all good.
Oh, that's
Well,
gonna be
you guys
great.
are just tripling down on all the exciting guards.
Obi's a big guy.
Kind of.
He's 6'9".
Yeah, but he plays like a
He's
guard.
power forward.
Don't they all play like guards now? who's not a guard. Everyone's
Yeah,
a guard.
he plays like a guard because he plays in the Atlantic 10, and he like still has more skill than anybody, even though he's a big man. Actually, the Atlantic 10's pretty good at basketball. So,
But how did that Garland pick go? I mean, like he's done nothing this year.
He was solid. He was solid.
They got the Sexland backcourt.
Yeah, they're
Um,
solid.
Mallory, all I know is the Heat got the best rookie duo in the NBA.
Wait, speaking of, give me a second.
While Mallory's looking.
Are you? You mean Tyler Hero and Kendrick Nunn?
Your hand disappeared there into Tyler Hero. I don't know how that happened. And how did they just magically appear like that? I don't know.
Bah.
The Core Culture made a baby goat shirt. Are we clapping?
Eh. But I want to get back to the central point here.
Yeah.
What was the central point?
Coyle's Josh Christopher committing to ASU. Coyle said that ASU is going to the Final Four if they get, Romello and Remy back. I think Pac-12 championship, Sweet 16 this season. That's my thing. 25-plus wins. That's what I see out of this team. But anybody else?
I mean, they were a tournament team this year without a tournament because the coronavirus.
Yeah.
And I mean, I did not watch much basketball, but I know that, having a guy like Remy Martin leaving the program will obviously hurt him. Now, granted, getting Christopher, getting Bagley. Now, I don't know if Bagley's next year or the year after.
No, he's next year. Yeah.
He's next year too. I mean, look, I'm not the biggest person to follow recruiting for college sports. I never have been. I never will be. But, landing a top recruit like Josh Christopher's, number one, it's great for the program. But in terms of next season, they should be better on paper. Will they be? Time will only tell. It's Arizona.
According to college basketball sim, they already made it to the national championship game this year.
You know who did that, right?
Yeah, I know exactly who did that. That was the
John Mendoza did that. He's
the
a
photographer for Blaze Sports.
But also just logically, this should help ASU in the future because ASU is going to have a lot more primetime games this year. They're going to have a lot more games on ESPN. They're going to get a lot more exposure. That's just going to help them in the future.
And ASU seems to always perform well in the nationally televised games.
They do.
I mean, the thing is, it depends on the Pac-12 contract, of course. They are on ESPN, they are on FS1. You might see a game on Fox or CBS, so maybe ASU will get one of those more audience games like Fox or CBS. But, it just depends on the contract. But, yeah, I do think that maybe they'll get as much exposure as an Arizona or a UCLA. Who knows?
Don't they play UNLV or is it BYU at the Stick, Jesse?
I don't know.
You didn't hear about that? They play
I'm the women's basketball insider here.
I think it's BYU they play at the Stick next year.
Yeah, huge women's basketball news, by the way. Meg Newman, she's coming in 2021. Big recruit, top 50. She'll do a good job. But I'll move on from that. Today, I got fooled by Sports Talk Barry.
How?
I sent that in. I thought I gave it away by my caption on the message, but clearly
It
I
didn't. No, it didn't.
No,
Here, let me readjust my lighting real quick.
Let me just tell you.
Before
Well,
getting
number
this.
one, it wasn't like his best ever. Like it was a pass.
It was somewhat believable. Though.
Yeah, it was
like,
somewhat. Sorry, I need to go walk into the Atlantic Ocean. But no, so Chris
Empty
McCaffrey
town lake.
signed like a record deal for running back, $75 million over 6 years today.
Terrible deal.
What'd you say?
Terrible deal.
Yeah,
Oh,
running
really?
backs in the NFL play an average 1.5 years in their career.
Go look at the top 5 running backs 4 years ago and tell me if you still think top 5 back.
You know who the
Top 5 4 years ago, like none of them are anymore.
you know who is the second highest paid running back in the league?
Gurley,
Le'Veon Bell.
Le'Veon Bell. But that's my point. Like that looked like a
3.3
good
yards
deal
per
2 years ago, but then
Well,
And
you have to realize Le'Veon Bell sat out a year, so it made a huge difference on his value. And then he went to the Jets, who were bad.
So I've got a listing of the best running backs in 2014, and Jeremy Hill is listed. So yeah, that just tells you how much time changes for running backs.
Jeremy
Like,
Hill from Cincinnati.
yeah, he was listed on it. Like this list,
What's
like
his website?
Bleacher Report, which obviously isn't like the best site to go to, but I mean,
Mallory, who's your top 5 running backs from 2016?
What? How am I supposed to know? I don't watch football.
okay. So let's see. Okay, so Jeremy Hill was ranked number 8. The top 5 were they were, let's see, Marshawn Lynch. They were Matt Forte, Le'Veon Bell, Jamal Charles, and DeMarco Murray. Now tell me right now that Christian McCaffrey deal is a good deal.
2 out of those 5 running backs ended up on the Jets.
And like, is Le'Veon Bell the only one of those still in the league?
Le'Veon had a really good year last year, like surprisingly though.
He averaged 3.2 yards per carry.
I mean,
Terrible.
not really.
Jeremy, where were you watching?
He was the bright spot on
always-
that terrible
He couldn't
team.
run. He couldn't run. And the Jets weren't actually that bad. They went 7-9, I believe. They limped their way to 7-9, just like the Dolphins.
6-10.
They were 7-9, right? Oh, okay. Well,
We
the
were
Dolphins
5-11 actually. I
The
think.
Dolphins are always 7-10.
5-11.
So they're always 7-9. So, but now this tweet has now been deleted by Sports Talk Barry, and he says go follow Ultra Tough Scene right now because I'm sure Bleacher Report got mad at him.
Wait, so why did you get doped by Barry, whatever his name is?
The tweet basically said that will this discourage running backs of color to play football anymore because of white people are getting these contracts?
Yeah, and it was proving that there's a bias against Colin Kaepernick in the NFL, that a white running back is the highest paid running back in the NFL.
And Jesse believed it.
Well, I mean, it seems like a column that somebody would write. Like it's a column. Like
there
that's
are
a column.
there are certain people who would write that column. I agree.
Yeah, like Skip Bayless would write that.
No, God, no. That would be a Clay Travis article. What are you
Yeah,
talking about?
yeah. Clay Travis would write somebody.
I'm pretty sure
like,
Clay Travis's article would be the opposite of that, though.
Yeah, probably.
All right, I've got an interesting list here. Looking at running backs that have had seasons of 370 touches or more, not touches being catches, runs, whatever. And on this list here, I'm looking at it right now. Remember DeMarco Murray's 2014 season, guys?
Mhm.
How great it was. He had over 2,200 all-purpose yards.
Yeah.
I mean, the next year, he goes to the Eagles and has a 1,200-yard drop
Mhm.
and a 6-touchdown drop. Chris Johnson, remember CJ2K, 2009?
Yeah, he's been in the news recently.
Double murder, allegedly.
Yeah,
He
2010,
did a hit.
Yeah.
2010, a loss of 900 total yards and 4 touchdowns. Le'Veon Bell.
DJ2K should have been in Tiger King racing a cheetah.
Le'Veon Bell, 2017, 1946 yards. 2018, he didn't play. Christian McCaffrey, big year last year. Who knows what it'll be?
It's going to go down. Guaranteed.
But I'm looking at this list here, and there are some guys on this list that not necessarily surprised me, but 2 good years by Arian Foster led to
Dolphin
great.
good years. Yeah. Maurice Jones-Drew, he had a big fall off from 2011 to 2012.
He should have
He's
been a
also a
baseball
terrible draft evaluator, Maurice Jones-Drew. Go look at his top 10.
No, he
I
should
don't
have
want
been
to.
a catcher in baseball. That guy was built like a catcher in baseball.
He put Jonathan Taylor as the number 6 running back in this year's draft.
He was his number 1.
Wrong.
Jonathan
he
Taylor's
had-
the top 3 running back in this class.
Hmm?
Jonathan Taylor's a top 3, maybe top
Yeah,
2.
he's number 3.
Yeah.
Maybe number 2. But
Who were number 1 and 2?
Dobbins and Swift.
Swift?
Yeah.
Swift is like the number 1 running back in this class. He's going to
Yeah,
get
I
hit
don't know,
with
though.
words.
I think
He has a lot
Taylor-
less touches. He has a lot less touches than Taylor.
Yeah, well, I think Taylor will have the best career.
Taylor has like 400 more touches.
He's gonna have 2,000.
Draft talk on the Why So Serious show.
Yeah, why so serious?
Hey,
It's the only actual sports event that's going on for the next like whoever knows how long.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Wrong.
moral of the story.
Wrong,
Yes, we
Max,
got-
because we have our next topic. Jeremy,
Oh.
pause that thought. Next topic is what happened yesterday. I was all for it. The NBA, WNBA, old NBA, WNBA horse competition. I was all for it. I thought it was amazing, especially that Allie Quigley, Chris Paul matchup. Kling does not like it at all. I thought
You
it
still
was.
can't see Kling because there's a light behind him.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna refigure my light again, but I'm gonna tell you, horse sucks.
What?
It was awful. The quality of video was about as strong as Kling's right now.
Well, okay. Well, it was. If you get past the poor video quality, which I did, I
You
thought
get past how bad Paul Pierce has aged.
That was
That was the
funny.
best part. That was the best part of it was Paul Pierce missing layups.
Paul Pierce and Tamika Catchings were terrible, but that was funny. I thought it was funny. And Mike Conley's gonna win this whole thing because he's got a nice indoor gym. He shouldn't be allowed to do that. Everybody else has to brave the elements.
This would be way more entertaining if they were playing on mini hoops. Like the ones that hang on like
Well,
the
that's what I was
door.
saying.
Like, can you imagine? Like that would be
Yeah,
like
that's what I was
really
saying to
interesting.
Jesse earlier. I was saying that they should pull out props and say you have to shoot it with like a tennis ball or
They
something.
did. Didn't Zach
If-
Levine get on a scooter?
If you're gonna do the gimmick of having them play horse, just go all for the gimmick. Like just go crazy with it.
Best shot of the day was Mike Conley's kill shot on Tamika Catchings, where he shot a layup from behind the hoop.
It's funny though that probably the two best players of all time in this thing were absolutely atrocious. Catchings
Because
and
Paul
Pierce.
Pierce was a terrible NBA player at the end of his career.
I
We
mean,
saw this coming.
he kind of was really good at the end of his career for the Wizards, and it really helped us that
He
season.
still played 3 more years after that.
Yeah, he was really bad in LA. I don't know why. He only went to LA because of Doc Rivers. Otherwise, he would have retired. He's guy Doc Rivers.
Locker room guy, Paul Pierce.
Yeah, that's what I thought he was. And then he retired and started being an analyst. And I just found out that he was just a clown show. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Anybody else disagree with that?
He's the
I knew he
easiest
was a
guy to
clown
make
show.
fun of on earth. Like literally, he's the easiest because he always sets himself up. Like he throws the first half of the alley oop always to make fun of him. It's just too easy.
I've
And
got
then there's
that.
LeBron ducking over Jason Terry.
Mm-hmm.
I've got an idea.
What?
If you're going to have this stupid quarantine, whatever nonsense, if the NBA wants to put out a product, don't do these stupid 2K games. Don't do these stupid horse competitions. Give me LeBron, give me Giannis, give me all your stars dunk contests from home.
Yeah, LeBron.
I'm
would
into
Proceeds
that.
go to charity.
He wants to. He's always going to refuse the dunk contest because it's going to hurt his brand. Jordan did the dunk contest. The dude still sells shoes, and he's 57 years old.
Yeah. In fact, I would like to see a LeBron Jordan dunk contest.
Yeah, Jordan could probably. Jordan looks terrible though. Like
Jordan looks really bad.
he's smoking so many cigars these
Yeah.
days. Like, and he looks
I would
really
too
bad.
if I had all the money in the world like
Yeah,
Jordan.
but you got to take care of yourself. You
Yeah.
can't just be smoking cigars. No, but I thought it was great. Like, I still haven't heard your guys like valid reasons about why it was terrible.
I watched like 3 minutes of it.
You
What?
know why it was terrible? It was because you look at the quality of this video chat that we're on. That's the quality that they were putting on ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what else do they have to do? What they're not just going to send a camera guy to each of these.
Sure, they
People's house.
can.
I was
Why?
cool with watching the
iPhone-
2013 NBA Finals every day.
iPhone video looks better than this though. Like
I thought it was
I
fine.
don't know how they
Mark
do it.
Jones did a great job. It was sports. It was competition. It was the highlight of my month.
That's-
mean-
well, I guess it's been a really bad month.
I mean,
Yeah,
Jesse,
it's a
I
highlight.
will admit I was watching not the iRacing that Kyle Larson got in trouble for, but like the NASCAR iRacing, the ones they put on Sundays with Jeff Gordon and Mike Joy in the
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that because it looks real. These
Yeah.
2K games do not look real.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Did you
2K
s-
game, that was awful. Like, I was watching Travis and I were watching he might be joining us in a bit. But Travis and I were watching the Ayton Booker thing, and we're just like, this is just not the same.
Well,
It's not good.
did you see the Masters coverage that they had on Sunday? It was great. They had Tiger's round from last year, and they had Tiger come on like every 3 holes and talk his way through it and stuff like that. I said, why don't they do that for other players in other sports? Like, why don't they try to get Tom Brady in to narrate a Super Bowl, or LeBron to narrate
They had Ray Allen
games and
after the Game 6 shot that they showed. They had Ray Allen come on and talk.
Or Wes Unseld for the 1978 Washington Bullets, now the Wizards championship. Now that was the highlight of my month, actually. Second highlight was the horse.
He was screaming at the TV.
Yes, I was yelling at the TV of a game at a game 42 years ago that we know the result of.
My sports fix over the past week has been football. I've been watching football, which I mean, it's the middle of April. It's baseball season. It's basketball season. It's hockey playoff season. And I'm sitting here watching mid-season NFL red zone replays because
it's football. They do it.
It's football. They do it the best. It's
not us. It's them. It's their fault. Like, we know that with football. Like, for some reason, we're just glued in, even though we know, like, it's wrong. Like, honestly, like, football, brain damage, like, we know about this, but for some reason, we still watch.
I don't know if this was on your agenda or not, but I want to talk about the XFL. Like, I feel bad that these leagues are trying to do this sort of second-tier football league. You know what would succeed is if the NFL did a second-tier league.
Like the G League, yeah, and they played in the fall, and they played in smaller cities, and I have a whole plan for this, and they played less games, and then once your team gets a bunch of players on IR, after the lower level team season is finished, you do what baseball does or did before this season if they play it, and expand the rosters to 10. You add 10 more players, so you have a 63-man roster. This is something I've been planning out.
So I actually started planning this out after the XFL went bankrupt. Is you have this league, this secondary league. You play it Tuesdays and Wednesday nights. The nights when there's no football in this country. Friday nights, obviously, there's high school Saturdays, there's college on Sunday.
Hold up.
There's a lot of Mid-American Conference on Tuesday and Wednesdays. Just saying. Like, do you really want to miss out on 6-2 Western Michigan playing against 4-4 Buffalo? I mean, come on.
But, again, you have NFL-affiliated football. These guys that are working for second chances or a chance to make the roster. And the other thing that I would put in this sort of second-tier system is, like the G League, a two-way player where you have a guy who will be available for you on the active roster, probably will not play on Sunday unless there's injuries, but will get his chance to play on a Tuesday or Wednesday, like a third-string quarterback, like a rookie quarterback who goes undrafted. Like, what are they supposed to do all season besides ride the bench and, like, throw interceptions to the other team in practice?
But here's what I'm going to say about the XFL is I think, like, we're kind of going to get close to that if the XFL would have gotten another season because, like, there are already players that were making the transition from XFL to NFL. Like, there are probably 7 or 8 players from the XFL last year that have already gotten signed by NFL teams.
PJ Walker.
I mean, yeah.
Like that's who I think of. Now, granted, his college coach is – his college coach, Matt Rule from Temple University, formerly, he's now the Panther coach. So, but the
Battlehawks quarterback got NFL look too. I think he got signed by someone, Jordan Tamu, whatever his name is. Battlehawks. I got a Battlehawks sweatshirt before they went bankrupt. I'm so happy about it.
I mean, I have an Arizona Hotshots hat. Next year, Freedom League, run by Ricky Williams. It's AKA just the you can smoke weed and get away with it league.
I do have a question. Mallory, why don't you tell the people what you've been doing during this difficult time for you?
What do you
Just
mean?
for Mallory, it's only a difficult time for Mallory.
Yeah, what have you been doing, like, at home?
Are you trying to talk about my sleep schedule right now? Because
Yeah.
Okay, so I go to sleep at 7:30 a.m. and I wake up between 4 to 6:30 p.m. That's what I do. And then when I'm awake, I watch The Vampire Diaries because someone told me to start it. And there's 8 seasons and there's 22 episodes in each season. So I have like 160 episodes to watch. So that's what I've been doing.
And you normally play 3 or 4 games of Fortnite with me and Jeremy.
Yes. Around like 2 to 4 a.m., I squad up with Jeremy and Jesse. We win a game of Fortnite, you know.
Yeah, we normally go like 2 for 3 or 1 for 3.
So you're in Florida, I take it.
Yes. Yep.
So
I'm in sunny Florida, but can't like really go outside.
Yeah, this is an intervention for Mallory's sleep schedule. What are we doing, Mallory?
No,
no.
Mallory, I have an idea for you. I have an idea. Here's what you do. So good entry level job. They hire people at an entry level job. It's the night shift at MLB Network / NHL Network. You go and you edit highlights all night long in New York City. You get to live in New York. You don't.
That's not really a good thing right
Caucus,
now.
New Jersey.
I know, but I'm saying like in 2022, I'm sure this will not be a thing anymore or whenever.
Knock on wood if you're with me.
yeah.
What?
I said knock on wood if you're with me.
Yeah, knock on wood if you're with me.
Got to keep saying that, these what if hypotheticals.
Yeah, nobody really knows. But just saying, Mallory, that, you know, if we're back to normal, living in New York City, working the night shift for NHL Network, editing highlights, you know, you'll get a good job that way. I've known people.
It's a lot easier said than done.
I tried like just not going to sleep one day to see if like, oh, then I can like fall asleep at like 12 or something, but it just didn't work.
It doesn't work that way. I mean, I've worked overnights before, and trying to sleep after working overnight sucks.
Baseball in a bubble, or do we move on to movies with Max?
I think first we take a look at Jeremy's calendar that is dry erase that he hasn't changed since June, and it still says Max arrives on the 30th.
Yeah, keeping organized, huh?
Yeah.
Jeremy, I almost came in quarantine with you until I realized that you're an essential worker. I mean, I live with one of those already, so it's
A
dangerous.
lot nicer here because we only have 390 cases.
I think we have that in Tempe.
I think we have like 400 in this neighborhood.
Yeah, and your governor is trying to reopen the state first.
Oh, that was Georgia.
Georgia, Florida, they're all the same.
Yeah.
Well, Georgia and Florida people would definitely not like that comment right now.
Well,
Especially,
it depends on the parts of both Florida and Georgia.
Yeah.
if you're talking like dogs and gator people, like they hate each other. Like I personally think they're actually mad that they play that game in Jacksonville because it's in Florida. I think they'd like to play that game in Atlanta.
Should put it on the actual border of Florida and Georgia. The
Yeah, just play
Florida
in the
Georgia
field.
line. Just
It's on the
build
border
a
of
stadium.
Florida and South Carolina.
And the game can be sponsored by Florida Georgia Line, and they can play pregame. Mallory, put it on the poll. Should the Florida Georgia game be played on the Florida Georgia border with Florida Georgia Line as the sponsor?
She's not gonna remember that.
I remember it, but it's gonna be too many characters for Twitter.
Figure it out. You say UF versus UGA. There you go. Big rivalry game. So do we talk about baseball in a bubble, or do we move on? Anybody have thoughts?
Yeah, that's
You
not.
applied for any jobs for that yet, Jesse?
No, I need to reach out to, various outlets just in case I don't, my internship in New York falls through, which I hope it doesn't. But if it does, maybe I can, be a stringer for one of these newspapers, live in the team hotel. That'd be a great summer. I get free food, pay, be great. I maybe could sublease my apartment. They'd have to go through a test first before I did that, whoever wanted to do that. Yeah.
I mean, it's this whole situation's so fluid. You have no idea what they're going to decide on because it's, such a weird situation that we're in right now. And if you really wanted to put them, because it's such a bi-coastal sport, with a lot of travel to begin with. I get the idea of putting them in just Arizona or in Florida and Arizona, what have you, but you have families in other parts of the countries, and these players don't want to be away from the families if they have to essentially live in a bubble. The only thing you can hope for in this sport, in my opinion, is that the country gets better, that this curve goes way down. But, either they're going to have to play with no fans or social distance the fans, aka, have for every one seat, take like 4 around that seat.
That wouldn't work because what about the bathrooms? And then what about
concourses and the lines getting in and
everybody's walking into the game at the same time. Everybody's walking to go to get food at the same time.
Everybody brings their own training potty.
I thought you were going to say everyone brings their own food.
And with that,
yeah, everyone brings their own food and own training potty. And when you gotta go, you just say, "Don't look."
What's the incentive to have the stadiums open if they're not going to sell stuff? Like that's why fans.
They still would sell tickets. That's a big.
Yeah, they're not making. They're making more money off of the food and beer.
Here's the thing.
Gate revenue is the number one thing for baseball.
But here's the thing. What if you say you paid a premium for a ticket? You and your friend or whatever pay $50 a ticket, but you're allowed to bring a cooler of beer with you into the stadium.
Max would be so down for that.
And chug like a 12-pack during the game.
It depends because, that sounds great, like, in normal times, but, like, I'm very suspicious of anybody that goes to a baseball game right now. So even if, like, there's social distancing rules, like, I'm not confident with that. While that sounds great, like, I'll just watch it at home with a 12-pack of beer.
And that concludes our baseball talk for the season.
Jeremy's happy that there's no baseball. He doesn't have to watch the Marlins. I find joy in the Orioles, even though they're bad. Jeremy just doesn't watch the Marlins.
Well, from the year 2004 until the year 2016, I watched the majority of Marlins games.
When they were good, when they were kind of good.
Yeah,
they just had like 5
They made the playoffs one time. They made the playoffs 0 times in that span.
Yeah,
2004 to 2016.
The saddest existence ever. So I stopped watching when they traded Yelich and Stanton.
And Fernandez died, of course.
Correct. Right.
Can't forget that.
I watched the end of that season and then I stopped.
I say this a lot, but I was like, 2016 was the year that like Jeremy and I went to like literally like every game because we were trying to see like Ichiro's 3,000th hit, and like I was literally like getting ready to go to the game that morning that like Jose died. It was sad.
Here's how you do it. So you get a good Netflix show. You get into a good Netflix show. You're binging. You watch 2 innings of your favorite, your bad favorite team's game. You get frustrated. You go find some joy in the Netflix series.
I watched more Mariners games last year than I did Marlins games.
Yeah, well, weren't they worse?
They were really good to start the season. Really good to start the season.
Yeah, but they were terrible at the end. All right. Well, Max, you're back for the first time in like a long time, so I'm sure you have a lot to talk about. So I'm gonna play your intro.
Oh yeah, because there's tons of movies out right now.
On demand.
Time for everyone's favorite segment. Well, kind of.
Tiger King counts if you've seen it.
I haven't. I want to.
Please watch it.
I'm not jumping in yet. There's too much Survivor to watch.
Carol Baskin.
Yeah.
Here's Movies with Max.
Hi guys.
Hi.
It's a joke that doesn't make sense for anyone who hasn't listened to the show, so for all but 3 people. I watched Bloodshot today. You heard of that movie?
No.
What's it about?
It's a Vin Diesel movie based off like a kind of obscure comic book from like the 90s. It's absolutely terrible. It's one of the most bizarre, weirdest things I've ever watched in my life. It bombed at the box office, obviously, because of all of the stuff that's happening right now. But it only made like $5 million its opening weekend, then had to go out of theaters to VOD after that. And then it's awful. Nobody's watching it on VOD, so it's losing even more money. I put a poll out today on what movie should I watch. This has the lowest Rotten Tomatoes score of the 4 movies. It has the lowest every critic score of all the 4 movies. And it had the least amount of votes. And I just decided, you know what? I'm going to watch this thing.
It's a great way
And
to do your business.
So wait, so
I got what I deserved.
What was the highest ranked movie? What was the highest voted movie, I should say?
Invisible Man, which I haven't watched yet, but
I-
I'm needing to get to.
I want you to watch The Hunt just because I'm interested in it.
Yeah, I do too. That was honestly probably my second choice for today behind
Like, it was-
Bloodshot. So
It was good that they pulled it at the time that they did, but like I'm very intrigued.
I'm
like-
intrigued too. I might watch it like tomorrow or something. So
And you know what,
um,
Max, I gotta tell you, I went and I think I told you this, but right before like everything shut down, I went to the movies and I saw Jojo Rabbit.
mhm.
And you know what?
Jojo.
Big fan, actually.
It was good. Yeah.
It was a good movie. It was.
No one listened to my JoJo joke. Come on, guys.
I heard it. Todd Graham.
I do want to give a shout out to 2 movies that are currently on demand that I saw right before this hit in theaters. I saw them. Onward, which is the newest Pixar movie from this year, is very, very good. It's on Disney Plus right now. It's definitely worth like the hour and 45 minutes. And then The Way Back, which is a basketball movie starring Ben Affleck. He plays coach of a high school team. It's from the director of Miracle. And it's really, really good. I think it's one of the better sports movies to come out in a long time. So
There's not been a sports movie that's come out in a while, or at least a good one. Like
not a good one. Creed 2 is probably the last good one,
Yeah.
I'd say.
I wasn't a big
Um,
fan of $1 Million Arm. I did like, I don't know why. I just thought it didn't do anything for me. I liked Trouble with the Curve, and that was probably the last one that I actually liked.
And that was like a while ago.
Yeah, and that movie wasn't great either because number one, you couldn't hear what Clint Eastwood was saying because he's so old, and then number 2, Justin Timberlake and Amy Adams, zero chemistry.
Yeah. But like this one,
Watching
this
him
was
throw back Justin Timberlake SNL yesterday. I think he's one of the greatest like SNL hosts.
oh yeah,
Oh,
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
it's great.
oh yeah. He's always good because he works so well with both Andy Samberg and Fallon that they have so many good stuff that they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, The Way Back, like I said, it's really refreshing because I feel like 95% of like great sports movies are probably either baseball or boxing. So it's nice to see a really good basketball one. This one's pretty dark. It gets pretty like intense, and so but it has some really, really like happy and fun moments too. So
Is Ben Affleck good? Because I think
Yes.
he's a pretty bad actor.
I know if Ben Affleck, if there was a regular release schedule, because obviously like who knows what's going to happen with award season and stuff, but I think Ben Affleck would be a legitimate favorite if there was a regular awards season run. Like he's really, really good in it.
And for a sports movie, wow.
Yeah, he's kind of playing him because I don't know if you know, but he's had like a lot of like issues that he's open about with alcohol and stuff, and he plays an alcoholic in this movie, and so like he kind of really digs in deep to his like personal life and stuff, and it's really, really good.
Interesting. Anything else?
No,
Mallory,
been
yes,
watching much.
you can add Evan to the call. Give
I
him
think he wants to come on next week. I don't know.
next week. Okay, are we doing this next week?
I don't know.
I mean, we have listened to your heart now, so I mean, we kind of have to. Do we have any, Max? Do you have anything else for us? Do you want to stay on for the listen to your heart segment?
I mean, I was gonna stay on if Travis was still on because I want to get a Survivor segment in at some point, but
oh yeah, I don't know if he's watching it.
I don't
though.
know. Tell him to watch it. It's the best season ever.
Oh, really?
Is it the current
Put it on the
season?
poll. Is
the
every
best
season of
season
Survivor the
ever?
best season
Yes,
ever?
because it's the 40th season. So what they've done is they've brought back 20 former winners to compete against each other. So it's like
What?
all of the greatest of all time at Survivor are playing against each other right
But
now.
is Russell on?
No, because he never won.
It doesn't matter. He's one of the greatest of all time.
No, it's only winners though. It's called
Travis-
Winners at
If
War.
Russell's not on it. It's not we're not playing.
Russell
Max.
was a terrible player. He's
Yeah,
a terrible
He's on
social
all the
player.
immunity idols without any clues.
Oh,
Max.
he's fun. Hmm.
Max, Travis said that he said that Survivor's not as good as it used to be.
That's a very Travis thing to say though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But
It's gotten a lot better. It's gotten way more interesting. But
I might watch this season. It sounds good.
yeah, it really is. Like you can catch up, I think. I think it's on like Hulu or something. I don't know.
eh.
CBS.com.
Yeah. I think it's on CBS.com. So yeah.
Um,
catch up. It's really good.
Have you guys ever watched The Sopranos?
No, but I'm meaning to jump into it. I'm gonna use this time to hopefully
Please
get into
do.
Sopranos.
I started it. I've been watching kind of slower recently, but I'm in the third season. The episodes just get better and better, honestly.
Do they
And
hold up?
what's that?
Does
They
it hold up?
they do. They really do. And it's weird that I find such a show about serious things kind of funny in a way.
Yeah, that's how. Have you ever watched Succession? Because that's what I'm finishing right now.
No.
That's like a super serious show also that has so much comedy in it. Like it's really, really funny. Like, and it's not even like jokes. It's just like the stuff that happens and it ends up funny.
Breaking Bad has some
absolutely.
funny moments too.
Mhm.
Very, very funny moments, especially stuff involving Jesse. I just finished Breaking Bad, by the way. It's a good show.
Yeah.
Very
I mean,
good show. One of my favorites now. Obviously.
I will admit the best episode I've watched to date was the second season finale of The Sopranos. Great show. Watch it if you can. I believe HBO is actually streaming it free right now.
Mhm.
Really?
So,
You're actually, Matt, you're actually the second person within the last week to tell me to start watching The Sopranos.
well,
Yeah, I've heard that recently too. But
Matt.
I'm invested in the Vampire Diaries. I gotta
it's a
finish
good
that.
show.
Matt, do you watch Seinfeld? Like, does Seinfeld hold up? Because everybody's dad watches Seinfeld.
The
And so,
thing
like-
is, Seinfeld for
Stop
me,
looking like that, Max. Come on.
I never
My
watched.
parents love it. I hate it.
Come on.
That show would air every night at 7:30, and I think TBS probably still runs marathons of it throughout the day.
What?
What?
They run what?
Marathons
What?
or long blocks of the show.
I
What am
think
I
Travis
saying?
is walking in.
But I don't watch Seinfeld.
Yeah, I'll find some of the moments when my dad's watching it funny, but like I tried to start it because like I definitely think it is 10 times better than Friends, and like I don't know why Friends has held down the fort like when Seinfeld is like
Wait,
definitely a better show.
stop the friend hatred.
I could never mind. I'm not, let's change the topic. Max, actually, I had one more thing that I wanted you to stay here for, and.
All right.
On our show about a month ago, I unveiled the backup catcher draft. I mean, backup catcher national invitational tournament because, backup catchers, they don't deserve a full 64 teams. And, I slowly wound my way through the bracket. Putting them on polls was actually very painstaking, and I don't think I will be doing this again. But we've got our final four set, and the number one seed, David Ross, he won the Grandpa region based off of his nickname. He will face the number two seed, George Kateris, who had a shocking upset over Mustache Man Corky Miller in the Mustache region bracket. And then the second one, big Cinderella upset, Tuffy Gosowicz, former ASU great in the
Former
Hoop
D-back.
region. Yeah, former D-back versus another former D-back, number one seed, Jeff Mathis. So you know who follows us. D-backs fans, because they got their guy.
This show is based out of Arizona, literally out of a studio a mile away from the stadium.
Texas Rangers great, Jeff Mathis, 168 batting average, comes back.
Florida Marlin great, Jeff Mathis, or
Miami Marlin. He was
Yeah.
not on the Florida Marlins, unfortunately.
Yeah.
1 year for the Angels, he hit 230.
It's not bad for a catcher.
It's not bad for
Put
him.
that
It's
guy in
like,
the Ring of Honor.
that's him hitting 340. Hello, Evan. You joined the show.
I did. Happy to be here.
Who's your favorite all-time backup catcher?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot here. You
Who's
know
your
baseball's
favorite
not
all-time
my
backup
sport.
goalie?
Yeah,
Backup goalie? Andre Red Light Rasico. I never saw him play, but he was Waz backup in the 90s. Pretty famous.
Yeah, we don't
But-
like Wah because he beat the Panthers in '96.
Who's the
Y'all
guy?
had no chance. Don't feel too bad about it.
Who's the guy that used to play for the Caps that was the reason why the Caps won the cup because his benching led to an angry Holtby?
Philip Grubauer.
Yeah,
He's Colorado's starter now. Damn good goalie. I don't know why you traded him. I honestly,
'cause he was really bad in those two playoff games.
yeah, like a lot of guys from that roster ended up in Colorado. Like there's him, Burakovsky, Orpik was there for a little bit, and then he just went back to the Caps. But I don't know why you traded him. He's a good
We have a
goalie.
little thing going on with Colorado. Simeon Varlamov, like back in the day, we have a little thing going on with them.
Yeah.
I love the hockey talk. So do you think hockey's coming back?
No, Doughty went on like somebody's podcast today and said he doesn't think it's coming back, and I kind of agree with him.
Ever?
Yeah, I
or
agree with him because he's a hockey god.
He's an opinionated guy for sure, but I don't see how they're gonna finish the season. I really don't. Like, they were talking about having games in like one location. Like, I think North Dakota got mentioned with like no fans in the stands. They have like all 31 teams there at the same time to finish out their schedule and then do the playoffs. Like,
What
I
about Ice in
just
Scottsdale?
don't see it.
This reminds me about my
Scottsdale-
idea to bring football to Montana.
I mean, like, I just don't really know what they're going for. Like, wouldn't that be a risk for contamination too if you have every single NHLer in the same place at once? And there's still like 6 guys who've tested positive right now. So I don't see it, but maybe I'm wrong. Who knows?
So they would have to have rapid fire testing.
I mean, I don't know. It still seems like a huge risk, but they're going to do everything they can to save the season. I just think they're kind of running out of time.
Do you think players would play with coronavirus? Stanley Cup playoffs are going on, and they're battling chills.
Can
and
you
fever
imagine if
whatnot.
that got out? Can you imagine if that got out and they knew?
Are tough. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But can you-
They're not
can
going to
you-
risk infecting
you-
other people.
Yeah, their career is over if it comes out that they knew about that. Like,
But
legitimately
they're
over.
playing.
Yeah,
They're
over like
playing
Kyle
with-
Larson's career.
Yeah,
Oh, come on.
exactly.
I mean,
It
they're
would be
playing
done.
with broken legs, essentially, like half concussed heads.
Yeah,
Like,
but just
all
because
these
you have a
players-
broken leg,
couldn't
Brain
talk
injury,
last
not a head
year.
injury.
can you imagine if you were playing with a broken leg and just because you came in contact with every other player, literally everybody in the NHL would get a broken leg? Like, that's
Everyone
the
plays
comparison
with
there.
it because of hockey players.
That's pretty much what it would be like. Like, they could definitely handle it, but they're not going to.
Yeah.
No.
I totally think that they could handle it, but they're not going to because
Like, could you imagine if a guy like kept playing even though he knew he had it, and then it got out that he knew? Like, that would be a disaster for him and the team, probably.
Oh yeah.
Now, we've already lost one NHLer this week. We don't need like any more.
Mm-hmm.
Did y'all talk about that already? By the way,
Okay, hold on. No team would test all of their players and make sure that those tests went to them and not just the player.
Yeah,
And
it wouldn't be up to the player.
There would be no way that this would happen.
But here's the other thing, and in talking about hockey, is that this is the league where teams will tell you the only extent of some guy's injury is that it's an upper body or a lower body injury. Now, granted, in terms of safety reasons, you could say people trying to check for the knees if they know that the guy's got a bum knee, whatnot. Like, do you think that hockey could have a more transparent injury reporting system from
No.
this?
What happened?
That hockey.
Yes. Jesse, what happened?
Josh Christopher, Evan, are you excited?
yeah, I have like a kind of like guilty confession to make. I've never actually been to a game at Desert Financial. This is probably going to change that.
Go
Like-
walk into the Gulf of Mexico.
That's kind of far. I think I'll pass. But Guard U is back. Like, what else can I say? It's a good get, to say the least. Like, I'm pretty sure the highest rated recruit we've ever had.
Yes.
So yeah, that's quite something. This is probably the best
Right
thing.
behind James Harden and Lugan's Dort.
Yeah, that one didn't
was
pan out.
Lou better?
Hopefully JC's a little better than Lou was.
Yeah.
I wanted him to be
Lou couldn't
good
finish
because
that
he's from
forever.
Montreal, but damn, like, he was kind of a disappointment.
He kind of dribbled into traffic and then just chucked it at the rim.
I
He
have a
doesn't
story
playing
about Lou
time for the
Dort.
Thunder this year, though. Give the guy some
Yeah,
credit.
he was a
He's at least
starter.
playing in the
Great
NBA.
NBA player. That team, the Oklahoma City Thunder, Sam Presti, their GM, let me tell you right now, that guy, for some reason, he's like they're like the Oakland A's. For some reason, they play in Oklahoma City. It's not a city that they should be good, but every year they're putting out a good product, and I just don't understand.
They just had Paul George, Russell Westbrook, and Carmelo Anthony. That's not an A's thing to do.
Well, but like now they have Chris Paul, like old Chris Paul.
Now it is
And Danilo Gallinari.
Their roster is like A's
Don't
but
forget
it's like
Gilgeous Alexander, man. He might be their best player.
They're 38-25 or something like that.
Probably gonna stay that way.
Yeah, but
Like
Sam
too
Presti,
bad.
genius general manager.
it was our year this year
Doesn't have a ring,
for
though.
the NBA. It was our year. We still could have won every single game, and the whoever the 8 seed is could have lost every single game, and we would have
Oh
made
my
playoffs.
gosh, the Eastern Conference bottom, the basement of the Eastern Conference, so bad this year.
Yeah,
I predicted that too, and Jeremy didn't believe me. He's like, oh,
we're the
I told
kings
you.
of being bad in the East.
What'd
Except
you
for when
say?
we won we're the kings of being
about
bad in the East,
still-
except for when we won the finals like 3 years ago.
At the top of the Eastern Conference, the teams at the top of the Eastern Conference still better at than the teams at the top of the Western Conference.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Record-wise. Yes.
record-wise, but let me tell you right now, the Lakers and the Clippers would smoke the Bucks.
The Clippers would not.
The Clippers have shooters and defense. That's all you need to stop Giannis.
Name me 3 shooters on the Clippers. I dare you.
Kawhi, Paul George, and
You're giving Kawhi and
Lou
Paul George the shooters.
Paul George is a
They're
great
all-around
shooter.
players.
And Kawhi's a good shooter too, but
Kawhi's a very good shooter. Lou Will off the bench named his kid Six SYX.
they still have Landry Shamet too, right?
Yeah,
That guy's wet from 3. They have
Yeah.
shooters.
yeah. They would.
Put it on the poll, Mallory.
Ice
Is
the
that guy
floor.
better at 3?
I'm pretty sure if the playoffs started right now, they would play the Mavs too, which is like the Mavs
That's a
would get
difficult
swept.
matchup.
They can't beat the Clippers.
Yeah,
Like-
that would be a difficult matchup for the Clippers, though. That would be their hardest matchup
No, it
in the
wouldn't.
playoffs unless they play the
No,
Lakers.
it wouldn't. Who's
Unless
guarding
they play the
Kawhi? Who's guarding Kawhi?
Luka?
no.
No, he's not. No, he's not. We have no one who plays defense, man. No one is guarding Kawhi.
But the
He's dropping
combination
35
of
every
the
game.
combination of Luka and Porzingis would be a tough out for the Clippers. It would be a 6-game
No.
series at least.
Sorry, no.
They wouldn't win.
I went to the second to last game they played this year. It was against the Pacers. Porzingis had 9 points, and he was like 1 for 11 shooting.
Did you
That
see
guy's
Mark
not
Cuban?
he's not showing up in a playoff series. I'm sorry.
Did you see Mark Cuban? That's the real reason to go to a Mavs game, just to see him on the sideline.
No, but I think that the Heat would beat the Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals. It would be the Heat.
Yeah,
having
me too.
to-
I agree.
to go against the
100% agree.
Lakers.
Yeah,
Not just because we're Heat fans or anything.
No.
Giannis needs some guys that can shoot around him. I mean, he did have Kyle Korver.
The Heat also need
Chris
home court
Middleton.
to win. Have you looked at their road record this year?
Yes, I'm aware.
Look at all the
We've had this
back-to-backs they had to play
discussion,
on
but
the
like for everyone
road.
else,
Stop.
We have a
Look at all the
terrible
back-to-backs
road
the
record.
Heat had to play on the road
if
this
they
year.
don't have home court, they're not
No.
winning.
Don't remind me of home court because that's the Sixers season in a nutshell.
That's what I said. I said, sounds better than the Sixers, Kling.
Don't even talk to me about the Sixers.
Mallory, how many back-to-backs did the Heat have to play on the road this year?
Oh, get out of here.
Every
I'm
single road
rooting.
game was the back.
Every other week. Every other
Every
week. the Heat had
team
to play
plays
back-to-back.
like the same amount of back-to-backs on the road, Jeremy.
The Heat play more back-to-backs than
Yeah,
any
it's the scheduling, Jesse. I'm talking about the scheduling.
the same amount of back-to-backs.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the scheduling. Do you have to play a back-to-back, play a game in between, then play another back-to-back? I don't think so.
Wow. I'm an NBA player, and I have to
too.
play 2 basketball games in 2 days. So sad. I have to go make millions of dollars to play basketball. Wow. My joints, they're just going to be so – Jordan played all 82 games and averaged like 37 points a game. Get off my lawn.
Okay, speaking of the Heat, did y'all see Kendrick Nunn say he deserves to be Rookie of the Year?
He does, 100%.
Get out of here.
Where are the
No,
Grizzlies on the
leave this-
standings? Like,
leave
where
this
are the
video call.
Grizzlies on the standings right now?
No.
all the way down.
This is a rookie class with Zion Williamson and
Eighth
John
seed.
Morant.
Where
Get
are
out
the
of
Heat?
here.
Mallory,
Yeah,
where are the
John
Heat?
Morant should win it.
No, Zion.
John Morant
It's
should
great.
clearly win it, and Zion should be
Either
second.
way, Kendrick Nunn has
Zion
no
barely
claim to that.
played.
Get
Zion
out of here.
Not in the conversation. He didn't even play.
19 games. That's enough for me. That's enough of a sample size.
And he was
No.
great.
Oh.
The only 2 rookies of the year are these 2 guys.
No.
Get
no,
out.
Rui Hachimura.
No.
What are we talking about here?
He's trash.
Shut
Get out
up.
of here.
What? He's averaging 13 and 7.
What's his shooting percentage?
Like
It's
50.
Matisse Thybulle, clearly, but that's just personal bias.
Here's my
way.
diagram of
KPJ.
the Heat and the Grizz.
John Paul Jones.
Oh, KPJ.
Oh,
Kevin Porter Jr.
Jesse, John Paul Jones should make a guest appearance on Listen to Your Heart, true or false.
Speaking of John Paul
Yes.
Jones,
oh yeah. All right. Well, Max, if you want to log off, you can. If you want to stay here and hear about Listen to Your Heart,
No, I really don't, because I don't know what that is.
it's the Bachelor spinoff with music added.
It's Listen to Your
But
Heart's
actually-
also a song.
That actually sounds like something that I'd be more interested in.
It's really funny.
Honestly.
It is. It's good.
It was cringeworthy. I'll admit.
But it was good. It was good. All right, Mallory, I'm gonna hit the song.
All right. Bye, guys. Say bye to Dion.
by
It
the-
better-
Bye, Dion.
By
Bye,
Dion.
Max.
No,
Yeah.
your song better
Stay
not
safe,
be Every
y'all.
Rose Has Its Thorn because it's literally called Listen to Your Heart.
Well, I'm playing Every Rose Has Its Thorn because it's roses, man.
Yeah.
They're still roses.
Jesus.
All right, Mallory's got the recap.
I took notes. My dad also gave me some quotes. Okay. Okay, on the guide it just said The Bachelor : like the person making the guide forgot to put Listen to Your Heart. They just put The Bachelor : Anyway, they're all looking to share a deep passion of music with that special someone. There's a girl named Becca who's a musical theater person, and she kept making like creepy noises in the mirror. Jamie is the first one out of the limo, and she is starstruck by Chris Harrison, which is very different from the guy named Matt who doesn't even know who Chris Harrison is. And just even put on the poll, like, can you go on a Bachelor show without knowing who Chris Harrison is? No.
Yeah, that should be part of like the job interview is do you know who the host of this show is?
Chris Harrison, sports journalism, great.
So yeah, Ron said she's a little bit extra, I have to say, about Jamie. And then Stacy said she's only 21. And that's Jesse's point of she shouldn't be on this show when she's 21.
Yeah, she was like short hair Becca from Ari's season. Like she was like
Oh my
20.
God,
Nobody
oh my
knows.
God. You know, she got like
Cute.
pregnant 2 months after The Bachelor and is on there.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jamie doesn't want any of the drama, but then suspenseful music starts playing, and in walks Savannah, who caused no drama at all. They just wanted us to think she would. This girl named Rudy claims she's dated all of LA already.
Rudy.
Rudy,
No way.
Rudy,
Rudy.
Rudy, Rudy.
Rudy's kind of crazy. Anyway,
Not a big fan.
Jamie liked Ryan until Mike has singing voice
Michael
I've ever heard in
Todd.
my life.
You haven't heard my singing voice. I bet I got him
Let's
beat.
keep it that way.
Yeah, I have a broadcast voice. I'm not ashamed of it.
I have both.
Not made for singing.
You have neither, Jesse. Shut up.
Jeremy, you want me to get my guitar?
No.
Please don't. Embarrass.
Brandon has the first "Can I Steal Her for a Minute" of the season. Ryan gets a date card, chooses Jamie, no surprise.
Mallory, did you mention that Michael Todd tried to go in for the kiss?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
You want to explain that situation?
So Michael Todd's this weirdo that showed up. I'm not gonna go away from that statement. And he comes in and he sits down next to probably the most attractive girl on the show, and he makes an absolute fool of himself by saying, "You've got nice lips," and then like tries to lean in for a kiss, and then she just walks away.
No, she
God.
takes a sip of her wine and walks away.
Yeah.
like that is just the worst. Like you can't even pick up a girl at a bar with that line. Like
And Jamie goes. She said something like, "That guy's weird."
Yeah.
guy
He
is
needs to
weird.
work on his approach a little bit, but I like the confidence. Just maybe use a better line next time.
Yeah.
Just wait till the end of this recap, and you'll figure out what happens to Michael Todd.
He used the 9-iron from the bunker right next to the green. It didn't work.
I mean,
Clearly,
I still use a sand wedge, and it goes way over the pin anyway.
Yeah, we don't need.
I still don't know how to use a sand wedge.
so what else happened?
We're becoming the sports radio.
Ryan
host.
and
That's
Jamie
our
go on
fault.
their date, and they sing a John Mayer song, and it becomes very clear that Ryan looks a lot like John Mayer. It's like creepy, like very creepy. Matt gets a second date card and chooses Mel. And, Rudy, the crazy one, gets very jealous because Rudy told Matt last night that he was the only guy that she liked. Sheridan, the guy with the hair that looks like me, a guy should not have hair this long. Anyway, walks in on Julia and the bald guy making out, and he steals her for a second to perform a song for her. She said that was so special. Matt wasn't feeling it with Mel, and now he's circling back to Rudy, but Rudy goes off on him. Now
I thought that was a little unfair.
Yeah. Now Michael tries singing for Rudy, and Michael's just very cringe. Anyway,
Rudy liked it.
Rudy just liked the attention.
Yeah, Rudy was drunk probably the whole time.
Jamie saying that Ryan has
Reckless
a perfect
speculation.
face. Trevor sings to Jamie, but he isn't as good of a singer as Ryan, which is weird because Trevor was the one that was on American Idol apparently. Jamie is.
Katy Perry said he was hot.
Yeah.
Now time for the rose ceremony. Savannah and Brandon seem to be like the strongest couple there. Then we get Mel and Gabe, someone and Danny. I'm gonna put question mark and question mark because we have no idea who they are. And
Here, I have the list if you need it as backup.
Yeah, you want to run through the list?
Yeah, I mean, this is just this isn't call out order, but so we have Bree. We have Bree, who I took down as the 28-year-old who's formerly engaged. Her pick was Chris, who I don't know who Chris is. I did not take a note down about Chris. There was Becca, the theater gal, who picked Danny. Danny, I did not have a note for. There was Savannah, the free spirit, who picked Brandon, who's the ex-military, who's 34.
Not going to work.
There was Julia, Philly Julia. She's from Philly. Did I mention she's from Philly? She picked Sheridan, a.k.a. the Traveler, a.k.a. the guy who looks like our former program director, Atlin Hazard.
Yeah, what happened to him?
He works in Philly now, by the way. He
moved to Philly? I thought he was in New York, working for Mike Francesa.
No, he works in Philly as an overnight anchor on the 24-hour news radio station there, KYW News Radio 1060.
But he's on the air now, so that's cool. Yeah. Good job with him. Go ahead.
So we're halfway through. Let's see. We got Mel. Now, Mel is the guy who is the 27-year-old who said she was really shy over dudes with the purple hair. She picked Gabe, the openly Christian one.
I think she has pink hair, not purple hair.
Purple hair, whatever it is. The everyone will all say is crazy. The one who put that she's so effing ready. She picked Ryan, who I put down as Shawn Mendes' long lost cousin. You said John Mayer. I said it at first. He was Shawn Mendes.
No, I see that too. I do see the Shawn Mendes resemblance.
Hold on. Has anybody seen the movie That Thing You Do?
No.
That's a no for me.
It's a 90s movie with Tom Hanks in it. It's like about like a 60s band that has a one-hit wonder, and he looks like the long lost. Look up that movie. He looks like the long lost member of.
And Charlie, as far as Charlie, Jesse.
Jeremy, I totally that was totally a clear sentence. He looks like.
Not spit it out at all.
All right. The other two call-outs were Cheyenne, who picked Matt, a.k.a. the guy who shares my name, who looks like what I look like in about 2 months. There was the 21-year-old Jamie who said that everyone cheated on her. She picked the former Idol contestant Trevor. So that's your top 16 on this show.
But I knew that producers were gonna make someone pick Ryan when Jamie picked Trevor. My dad knew.
They did not cut to her giving Ryan the rose. That was some suspicious editing.
That was so what they did is like once you get coupled up and you get the rose, the couple leaves and goes into another room. So all the other couples were waiting for the last couple to walk in. So we didn't see them like get a rose. We just saw them walk in with the other couples.
So I take it this is a similar format to Bachelor in Paradise.
Yes, that's why my mom and I are very excited because Bachelor in Paradise isn't going to be happening this summer, and that's like our favorite show. So it's the same format as Bachelor in Paradise, but instead of being on a beach in Mexico, they're just like,
They're in LA, just playing guitar.
But they're also, besides LA, they're also going to be going to Vegas and Nashville. I was supposed to go to the LA concert. Like, I got invited to that, but I was like, I don't think this show is going to be good. But now I'm kind of regretting it.
So based off the preview next week, they're going to bring more girls into the group, correct?
Yeah, depending on who has the power that week, they bring in, like, so if the boys have the power that week, then they'll bring in new girls and vice versa.
Wow. So that's
So,
interesting.
Before we end this shindig, if you look up at me, that's the cast of That Thing You Do.
Yeah.
Ryan very much belongs in this cast, especially the guy in the sunglasses. Like,
All right, Jesse, thank you for that trip down useless lane.
it's not useless. It makes sense. It's analysis of the show. It's analysis of the show.
I came here today to talk about Josh Christopher and the struggling and how I'm struggling as a journalist here in Helena, Montana. And
You're doing fine. You get to talk to the governor.
How he's doing as a producer.
You get to talk to the governor.
Yeah, and since
Governor
we're
definitely
talking about
has
broken
to be
promises here, where's the hockey talk at? We talked about it for like a minute.
We talked.
We talked hockey. We talked enough hockey. Matt, how are you doing, man?
Not enough.
I'm freaking how you say under house arrest essentially with this.
Do they not let you come into the office?
No, I now have two. I asked for a second monitor. They gave me a second monitor now, which is pretty awesome. I have to adjust my work laptop on top of old pairs of jeans to match up my screens so I can move my mouse in between them. Our governor screws with my show at least a couple times a week, and I think he's going to do it tomorrow, as in holding a press conference in the middle of the 5 o'clock hour, which is the hour of news.
I hate when that happens. When they hold a press conference at 4:30 and you know it's going to go over. You know it's going to go over. And they'll just break coverage to.
You know what? These governors and the president know exactly what they're doing in getting the ratings.
Yeah.
Although I will admit Cuomo's is a little bit odd timed. He does it like 11:30 or noon, like his time. But it's
ratings.
Yeah, ratings. Ratings is a part of life essentially. It's part of journalism.
That finally talks about basketball and football.
I'm anchoring from my basement office this week twice.
Yeah,
Cool. That was very useless.
My
down useless lane.
One of my anchors from home.
Jeremy, you're keeping it between the mustard and the mayo of the useless lane.
Great.
Hopefully you got
our number one anchor. She's pregnant and she's been anchoring from home.
Jeez, that's
so cool.
Crazy.
So
why did you say so cool?
Yeah,
it's been a crazy time. Trust me.
You're finding your way up useless mountain right now.
I told you I did a story on a basketball player or a volleyball.
There's my main anchor anchoring from home. If you can see.
We can't
Matt,
tell.
can that broom stand up? Nice feet too.
Jeez, is that how bad my camera is?
I have an American flag just like that, like just the same size as that.
I have a tiny one. I have a tiny one on my door.
Nice.
You have to pay.
I want to get a Canadian flag. Evan, you got any? Just sitting around the house.
Maybe. How much? Like, I'm not gonna give it to you for free. That's for sure.
Like $5, Venmo.
No, he could get one on Amazon for cheaper.
You want to bet? This is a big one.
What's up with this interview framing, man?
You talking to me?
Yeah, Matt, you should have it.
No, Jesse's headroom. It's too much headroom.
Well, if I actually sit up the right way, I'm kind of chilling.
You're chilling. You're a radio broadcaster.
I have it on a box, actually, if you want to see. Right there's a box.
Nobody wants to see your shorts, Jesse.
My shorts or pants. But yeah, there's the box that I have this on. So that I'm not staring down because Paula doesn't like that. And, I listen to what Paula has to say. Because
I
she's
have
in the
not worn long pants in about a month. That's the advantage of working from home is I just wear shorts every day.
Yeah.
I wore shorts out to the golf course on Friday. That was fun.
Jeremy, we don't want to hear about your golf round. You're killing the show.
I almost had my first hole-in-one.
Mallory, update the polls and let's get out of here.
Yeah, I'm falling asleep.
There were like 2 polls. They were like
No, all the Bachelor polls.
Oh, Bachelor polls too.
Oh, why do we need to hear these?
Will there be a breakup due to somebody not liking the other contestant's favorite artist / genre? 100% yes. Is Sheila the go-to name for vehicles? 50-50.
Wow.
Have you recovered enough from
Never
the
happened
Bachelor
before.
to listen to your heart?
Now reread that one.
Huh?
Reread the one after Sheila.
That's the one I'm on right now.
Okay, yeah, but we talked over you. So you can go.
Have you recovered enough from The Bachelor for Listen to Your Heart? 70% yes, 30% no. Does Trevor have the upper hand because Katy Perry called him hot when he was on American Idol? 73% yes. Should you know who Chris Harrison is if you're going on a Bachelor show? 94% yes. Are the contestants too excited for bunk beds? 64% yes. That was a funny one, Jesse.
Way too low.
Is Ryan the long lost cast member of That Thing You Do? Is that the movie you were
That's the
talking
movie,
about?
yeah.
What is this Rudy one? I don't know.
Just say Rudy.
Rudy.
I voted
Spelled
no.
Rudy
Exclamation
wrong,
point,
by the
question mark.
way.
I saw that earlier today. It was a hard no. I don't like that movie.
What?
Wow. Wow.
Get out of here. What's the Mallory? What's the result of that poll?
The Rudy one, 56% yes.
You
How many votes
spelled
do we
Rudy's
have?
name wrong, by the way. It's Rudy with an I on the show.
Yeah, nobody cares. It's Rudy. You spell it the way that Rudy in the movie spells it.
Jerk or
Not
no
true.
jerk, guy who spells his name with an I instead of a Y.
Yeah, my mom spells her name Becky with an I.
Jesse, your name is spelled wrong too. It should be like IE.
Yeah.
False.
Nah, that's not true.
Name a male with an IE. Name one.
I know my biblical
Name
name.
Name a spur. I dare you.
His name
Name
is
a
spelled
spur.
right.
Can we talk about how Jesse's roommate of almost over a year still just has no idea how to spell his name and will continue to put IE at the end of his name?
Name a spur. I dare you.
DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah.
There we go.
Patty Mills.
He's been on the Spurs since 1940.
Coach
Jesse, you share the spelling of your first name with Jesse Eisenberg, Jesse McCartney, Jesse Ventura, Jesse Jackson, Jesse Tyler Ferguson,
Ooh, Jesse Tyler.
Jesse Owens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
There's some Jesse that I heard today that is like a country singer.
Jesse's girl.
Jesse Daniel, I think.
Jesse's girl is an
Yeah,
IE.
that's IE, and I'm very mad about that because that's not how you spell it. Like,
Jesse was also a person in the New Testament and the father of David,
that's where my name
the
comes from.
Bible.
Yup.
Yeah.
Actually, where my name comes from. Like, legitimately, that's why my parents named me.
Very biblical.
Jesse Puljujarvi, former Edmonton Oilers first-round pick.
Jesse
Rest in
Plemons.
peace, his
Jesse
career.
Plemons. Anybody? Of Breaking Bad fame. He played Todd, one of the worst characters on that show. Hated Todd.
Okay, back to the polls. Is Jesse a human bobblehead? 100% yes.
100% Jesse's a human bobblehead. How about that?
It has 6 votes, so it's okay. Should the University of Florida versus University of Georgia game be played on the Florida-Georgia line and be sponsored by Florida-Georgia line? 100% yes. 2 votes.
Dang, I should have retweeted that.
It was
Yeah,
the best poll.
I thought you didn't put that on the poll, but
I
thank
did.
you.
It was the best poll.
It was really good. Is that all?
Yeah.
Well, that does it for the first Zoom edition of the Why So Serious show from home. We thank all the guests that joined. I'm not going to go through all of them, but it was fun. It was good. We'll hopefully see you all next week. There's going to be enough sports news. We have the final watch on Thursday of the horse championship. My prediction, Allie
Forks up.
Quigley goes all the way. Josh
Forks
Christopher, forks up. Let's go.